They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are 2 busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hello and welcome as we start our final week's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping that all is well with you and yours in your world. Since the last opportunity we had to spend a little time with you some 24 hours ago. The Louisiana legislature is scheduled to wrap up its work today. 6 o'clock is the time for the session to end. Governor John Bell Edwards is expected to address the accomplishments and or shortcomings of the session some 30 minutes after sine die is declared. This session has not been without its drama. We oftentimes refer to politics in Louisiana as a, quote, contact sport. Yesterday, for some legislators and the public at large, it got a little too close for that. 2 legislators, reportedly, had to be separated on the floor after one allegedly threatened to, quote, get my gun and finish this. Representative Alan Seabaugh was attempting to amend a bill on domestic violence. The bill, by the way, had been put forth by Representative Melinda White, who is a past victim of domestic violence. The controversy, allegedly, centered around wording for the bill. Representative Seabaugh says that he was attempting to change the language that included in this bill people outside of the household, not biologically related. He added that this bill, with the current wording, would have been a, quote, radical departure from current Louisiana law. It currently contains the phrase household members. He wanted it changed to family members. Representative Seabaugh, by the way, is an attorney and says that he was trying to explain to Representative Melinda White that these two terms can be interpreted differently. Quote, I told her that I understand you're not a lawyer and don't understand the difference. Then, he continues, she absolutely lost her mind. She started screaming and her face turned purple. Representative Seabaugh says that Representative White said one of two things, either, quote, let me get my gun and finish this, or I'm going to get my gun and finish this. Representative Seabaugh claims that Melinda White routinely brags on keeping a gun in her car and always being armed. For her part, Representative White says, quote, I've lived that, meaning domestic violence, because he said, I don't know a damn thing about it, and I've suffered it, end of quote. She did confirm to reporters that she does, in fact, keep a gun in her vehicle for protection. I understand the high-pressure nature of politics in Louisiana, and we all understand the mental stress that so many Louisianians, and Americans for that matter, are under because of COVID-19. But at the end of the day, it does not speak well of our legislature when debating the wording on a proposed measure to curb domestic violence allegedly almost ends in workplace violence. It was expected at the end of yesterday, and I've heard nothing to the contrary just yet, that Speaker of the House Clay Schnicksnyder was to meet with both Representatives Alan Seabaugh and Melinda White to discuss the issue and where to go from here. I don't know if that meeting in fact took place. Hopefully it did, and cooler heads will prevail in the future. As you might imagine, the media is going to keep an eye on this, and we'll see what, if anything, transpires as a result. Also, speaking of the Louisiana legislature, lawmakers deciding this week, it's now official because Governor John Bel, well, let me back up, not official yet. Governor John Bel Edwards is expected to sign this bill into law. And beginning in the near future, kindergarten will be mandatory for 5-year-olds in Louisiana. It will take effect with the 2022-23 school year and is expected to add in the neighborhood of 3,000 students to the rolls of kindergarten when it starts. Currently, Louisiana children must attend school from the ages of 7 to 18, unless, of course, they graduate early from high school. There is a provision that will allow children that are 4 years old on the first day of school to be able to defer for a year. Those that are in support of this measure point out the fact that there are 19 other states that currently require mandatory kindergarten. Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Texas are all states in our close proximity, regionally speaking, that have mandatory kindergarten attendance. Most of them, if not all of them, have higher literacy rates than Louisiana. And they noted that in our state, barely half of Louisiana's students in grades K through 3 currently read at grade level. That's embarrassing, y'all. And you know your buddy Clarence. I'm as big, pardon the double entendre, I am as big a small government person as you will ever find. But the numbers are what the numbers are. And we are, in fact, talking about the future of our workforce and our state here. And again, currently, nearly half of Louisiana students from kindergarten through third grade read at grade level. Most people that are observers of our society understand full well the best way, most efficient way to extricate one's self from poverty is with an education. And at the end of the day, you can have all the high-paying jobs in America. But if you don't have an educated workforce, those jobs do you absolutely no good at all. I understand. Oh, and by the way, I almost neglected to mention, there is a provision in the bill that if parents want to opt out and homeschool their kids, they have the right to do that. Unfortunately, and maybe it's just my experience in watching this unfold over 40 years now, with that option, which is probably the only reason it passed, you will have to create another level of bureaucracy who will be tasked with being the kindergarten popo. You follow me? If there are fines, penalties involved for not enrolling your child in kindergarten or homeschooling them, somebody has to be in charge of enforcing that. Yet another level of bureaucracy that the government will be forced to create because of legislation dealing with whatever particular issue. Not too far from our state capitol, of course, is the campus of our state's flagship university, Louisiana State. It is the rumor mill run amok after a story yesterday, actually it was a tweet from Kendall Rogers from D1Baseball.com, tweeting that LSU is interested in former Oregon State head baseball coach Pat Casey. Casey, in case you don't know, is a three-time national championship coach who won the College World Series, at least his team, the Oregon State University Beavers, won the national championship in 07, 08, and 2018. An unnamed source has reportedly told the ABC affiliate here in Baton Rouge, WBRZ, that Casey met with athletic officials last week here in Baton Rouge. Interestingly, he retired from Oregon State in 2018 and continues to work in the athletic department there. Obviously, the media is going to be all over this story. Going to be interesting to see what the Tigers are able to pull off after this monumental hire of Coach Kim Mulkey. First break of today's show. We'll come back and spend a little more time with you, right where you've got it, on the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
The first big sale of the year is here. The Dream Garage Spring Event is underway at Team Honda. For the first time ever, get $12.50 customer cash on every new 21 Passport, or get 0% for 60 months on every new 21 Pilot at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, those of us who watch politics for a living, along with those who actively keep track of things just because they want to know the direction the country is heading in recent years, as we have watched the divide in this country get wider and wider and wider, invariably, some of us find ourselves asking, are we this divided because the politicians want us this way? Or are we this divided because the politicians think we want it to be this way? The adage that you will hear sometimes is, does life imitate art, or does art imitate life? And of course, there are examples of plenty where both could be considered applicable. There is an interesting scenario taking place in the highest ranking legislative body in the United States of America, the United States Congress. You, I'm sure, are familiar with the Congressional Black Caucus. It is an amalgamation, compilation, if you will, of people of color that were elected to Congress. And of course, throughout the years, it has been an organization that dedicates itself to, aside from the furthering of America, looking out for the interest of the black community in America. Well, it was reported this week that the Congressional Black Caucus is refusing to extend an invitation to freshman black representative Byron Donalds. He hails from the Sunshine State, from Florida. But the problem is United States Representative Byron Donalds is a Republican. Right now, in the Congressional Black Caucus, there is not a single person of color that's a Republican. Isn't it interesting and somewhat telling that Democrats, among this litany of buzzwords that they've adopted since getting control of the White House, they are the ones that are always preaching inclusiveness. I would like to think that as an elected member of the highest legislative body in the entire country, that first and foremost, your primary concern would be the betterment of America as a whole. Secondly, I would think, as an elected member of that legislative body, your second concern would be for those in your district that have honored you with your vote, with their vote. Thirdly, as members of the Congressional Black Caucus, I would think the next concern on the list would be for people of color to advance in this country. But looking at this and taking it at face value, it's a little disturbing because apparently the Congressional Black Caucus's primary concern is to the party and not to the people. Now listen, y'all, listen. I ain't no Pollyanna. Sorry, English teachers, I didn't give y'all the heads up on that one. I'm not a Pollyanna. I understand how politics works. I understand party loyalty, and I understand how some people can game the whole freaking system in an effort to gain or retain political power. I get that. I understand that. If the Congressional Black Caucus decides they are not going to extend an invitation to Florida Republican Congressman of color, Byron Donalds, I would imagine if there's nothing in their bylaws, then it is certainly within their right. However, if they choose to follow that path, they would be much better served changing their name, because you are no longer the Congressional Black Caucus, you are now the Democrat Black Caucus. You follow me? In this age of inclusiveness, here's a guy who, like you, is a member of the highest legislative body in the land. Here's a guy that, like you, is a person of color. Here's a guy, like you, that represents a constituency in this country. And the only reason he would be denied an opportunity here is because he's Republican. You know, I want to say it was Barack Obama that brought into the mainstream lexicon of America the teachable moment. We had, some of us, heard that phrase before, but of course, understanding the issue that was at hand and the fact that it was a president that uttered the phrase teachable moment, it stuck with us throughout time. It, to me, is inconceivable that the Congressional Black Caucus does not realistically understand the divide in this country. Not just black and white, But Republican, Democrat, gay, straight, atheist, religious, and the list goes on and on and on. What a marvelous opportunity this would be for individuals who, at least when it comes to politics, are not of a like mind. A marvelous opportunity to show the swamp in D.C. and America at large that, yes, we can have differing opinions, but as Americans, we're obligated to try and come together and fix the problems that are ailing this country. Again, I understand full well if the Congressional Black Caucus decides we're not going to extend an invitation to you to join. Yeah, you're black. Yeah, you're in Congress, but you're a Republican. If they decide to follow that through, and at this point, this far into the 117th Congress, if they've not extended an invitation by now, chances are they probably won't. But at the end of the day, a golden opportunity for an olive branch, inclusiveness, teachable moment, bringing us together. Just occurred to me just now as that was coming up and coming out. These are all things that Democrats claim they want, but very seldom honestly try to achieve. But again, you're missing a marvelous opportunity. Can you imagine how your moral high ground would be elevated when at a press conference you can now say, well, we, the Congressional Black Caucus, both Democrat and Republican, have come together to get a conclusion on how to fix whatever the issue is that you're talking about. At the end of the day, America's problems are not going to be fixed by one party or one individual. It is the strength of this great nation that dissenting opinions are not only allowed, but they are encouraged. And those that we elect to serve us have a duty, an obligation to take into account all opinions when attempting to solve the problems that plague us. Sadly, the Congressional Black Caucus, apparently, if they decide not to extend an invitation to Representative Byron Donalds, apparently they only care about Americans of color if they're Democrats. Fact of the matter is, I'm pretty sure, I don't know what the demographic makeup of the congressional district of Byron Donalds is in Florida, but I'll go out on a limb and say there's got to be some black folks in his district. If you're concerned, Congressional Black Caucus, about this country, about the people that elected you, and your fellow people of color, how then do you justify refusing an invitation to a guy that has black people in his district? At the end of the day, I understand party loyalty, but maybe, just maybe, that's why we find ourselves with more and more politicians and fewer statesmen. Just saying. Bottom of the hour break. We'll get her done, come back and talk more with you, right where you've got it, on the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, as you get older in life, and I don't guess this is exclusive to Louisiana, I would like to think that as you get older and acquire more wisdom, it's pretty much true anywhere you go. But here in Louisiana, one of the things that I love about our culture is the fact that you can say pretty much anything about anybody as long as you either begin the statement or end the statement with "bless their little old hearts." It's wiggle room, okay? It's an out, if you will, for saying in a nice way, they really don't know no better. I can't be mad at them. Bless their little old heart. They just can't do any better. This week, actually yesterday, President Joe Biden, in a speech to American troops in the UK, said that the greatest threat to America was global warming. Now, bless his little old heart, apparently he didn't remember that, just a week ago, he told America that the greatest threat to America was white supremacy. But I digress. In asking the nations of the world to commit to, quote, ambitious climate change and stop the world from warming no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius, the president claimed that when he was elected with then President Barack Obama, the Joint Chiefs of Staff told the two of them that global warming was the greatest threat to the United States. Quote, "The military sat us down and let us know what the greatest threats facing America were. This is not a joke. You know what the Joint Chiefs told us the greatest threat to America was? global warming. Now, maybe I missed the conference. Maybe I missed the, for lack of a better phrase, continuing education program instituted in the military regarding global warming. But I was under the impression the Joint Chiefs' primary focus, concern, was that of military matters. And as much as I disagree with the liberals' premise on this, at least you could have continued the narrative that we've heard so much, speaking of catchphrases. At least you could have admonished us to, quote, consider the science. The last time I checked, the Joint Chiefs of Staff were not the individuals I would go to find out the specifics of the science. Just saying. Just saying. What is interesting about this is if you think back to Joe Biden's vice presidency, if the Joint Chiefs at that point said global warming is the greatest threat to America, and help me out here, Bill, did John Kerry and Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth, was that before Barack Obama's presidency?
Yes.
Okay, it was. I thought it was. Isn't it telling that Democrats ad nauseum have told us over the last 15, 20 years that global warming is going to wipe us out? And yet, I didn't get my telescope out this morning, and I don't have access to a SpaceX rocket, but I'm pretty sure this puppy's still turning on its axis. Speaking of doomsday scenarios that we've heard regarding climate change, President Biden, in that address to our troops in the UK, also warned of, quote, significant population movement because of global warming, including fights over land, millions of people leaving places because they're literally sinking below the sea, and fights over land that's not there anymore will become more and more prevalent. Interesting. Now, the Pentagon, according to President Biden, prioritized global warming during the Obama administration in 2009. So that's what, 12 years ago. If you go all the way back to Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth, you would think for these folk that only listen to the science, you would think at least some of their prognostications, forecasts, would come to fruition. But you know, if you watch this stuff long enough, you will come to the conclusion that Democrats slash liberals slash progressives have taken to an art form how to govern by using fear. And typically, they understand full well the most efficient and effective way to push an agenda, get individuals to give up certain rights, freedoms, and liberties is by to come up with something that you cannot touch, taste, see, or smell. There's no more effective boogeyman than dropping on someone something that is going to end the entire world or life in this country as we know it, and it's something that you can't touch, taste, see, or smell. I want to give my president the benefit of the doubt, but quite frankly, he leaves you confused. I mean, mere days ago, he informed us that white supremacy was the greatest threat to America. Mere days later, we're informed global warming is the greatest threat to America. Listen, y'all, this is as glaring an example as you will ever find of why we conservatives want the government to stay out of our lives. Sadly, there are those of you out there that have been asleep at the wheel for so long that you've been indoctrinated to the point where you think government is the answer to every problem you have. If you think that's the philosophy for you, let me ask you this. Sometime between now and next Tuesday, sit down and compile a list of things that government, particularly the federal government, have done an absolute bang-up, knockout job of fixing. Then, when you finish compiling the list of things that the federal government has just done a bang-up, a great job at fixing this, then make another list of the miserable failures that they've accomplished. I am not a betting man. Y'all know this. But I'll take odds on which list is a whole lot longer than the other one. It's why you hear us say so many times, y'all, government is not the solution to the problem. Government is the problem. Now listen, don't get it twisted. Clarence, I can't believe you saying we ought not have any government at all. No, that's what y'all do, but that's a different show for a different day. At the end of the day, real Americans take care of their own. Real Americans want to work in whatever their chosen field of endeavor is as hard as humanly possible to take care of their own. Real Americans want nothing more from the government than to simply stay the hell out of my way. If you do that, the rest will take care of itself. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
The selection is deep, and the time to get a used car is right now from the Team Automotive Group. Shop and save on over 125 certified vehicles and choose from more than 700 pre-owned vehicles at any of our team locations. Or log on anytime at teamautouse.com.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, one of the things that, and blame it on my upbringing. Growing up in a military household and following my dad on his various deployments in different places around the world and the country, I was exposed early on to white people. And as a result, Bill just went, as a result, I have, and the older I get, the more I realize how unique this appreciation is, I can appreciate all races, creeds, and colors. Because when you grow up in a military household, the kid that's in the same apartment building as you, but lives a couple of stairwells over, his dad might be in the foxhole with your dad when war breaks out. So as a result, we don't care about each other's skin color. All we care about is, do you have my back? That's the only concern for military folks. It is so ironic to me how liberals / Democrats / Republicans go out of their way to preach certain things to the rest of us while making no effort at all, or making efforts 180 degrees in the opposite direction to go against what they preach. It is literally impossible at this juncture in America this year to not be aware of the racial strife, not be aware of the division between the races, and not be aware of all the efforts that are taking place as we speak to heal that divide. Well, lo and behold, along comes Dr. Aruna Kilanani, psychiatrist out of New York, lobbied for weeks to be able to present a confab, for lack of a better phrase, to an Ivy League school. Finally, she got her wish, and she talked about in her lecture entitled, quote, "The Psychopathic Problem of the White Mind." She talked about in this presentation her fantasies of unloading a revolver in the head of white people. Can you imagine going into this woman's office, laying bare your soul, and God forbid you're white? Can you imagine going online, watching the news, whatever, and up she pops after you just left her with a session? Here's, however, the rub. Let me give you a couple of quick quotes from this. Quote, "We keep forgetting that directly talking about race is a waste of breath. We are asking a demented, violent predator," that's you, Marty, "who thinks that they're a saint or a superhero to accept responsibility. It ain't gonna happen. They have 5 holes in their brain. It's like banging your head against a brick wall." Here's what liberals / progressives / Democrats do. After spewing this racial venom, a reporter went to her website for her practice. You can probably imagine where this goes, right? From her own website, quote, "This is a call to outsiders. Our office is a, quote, meet point and humble sanctuary for all kinds of people. Whoever you are and wherever you come from, our world is better because of you." Then she goes on to say, conservative, liberal, old, young, blue, black, cisgender, trans, Asian, fat, skinny, rural, urban, b-baller, international, expat, rapper, queer, white, Muslim, biker, rocker, whatever. We're a welcoming place for you all. Welcome your butt to that counter if you white, and then unload that revolver in your head. Listen, y'all. If we are honest with ourselves in this country on this day, notice I said honest, not what the media-driven agenda tells you, not what those in political power that are seeking nothing more than additional political power will tell you, and not those who are seeking to monetize the rift between the races. If we're honest with ourselves, yes, America has had its problems with race. But look at from whence we have come. How many places on this planet can you tell me an entire country fought itself? Mothers fought daughters, fathers fought their sons, because some of them believed old Clarence could learn just like anybody else. How many places on this country fought a war with itself because they believed old Clarence can work just as hard as anybody else. Yes, we've had our fair share of problems. But when you look at from whence we have come to where we are now, hands down, y'all, hands down, despite what the media will tell you, America is not this ugly, monolithic, racist country. For God's sake, y'all, we elected a black man the leader of the free freaking world. And in case you don't know, it took a whole lot of white folk to vote in that way to make that happen. But we very conveniently forget all the accomplishments that we've had in this country. A little more homework for you this weekend. Tell me one thing that you cannot do in this country just because your skin looks like mine. Just one. That's all I ask. Just tell me one thing you cannot do in this country just because you're black. Can you vote? Check. Can you get an education? Check. Can you own a business? Check. Can you run for office? Check. Can you marry who your heart's desire if she loves you? Check. Can you, I don't know, can you live where you want? Check. Can you work in whatever chosen field of endeavor? Check. I'm going to save you some time. You don't have to engage in writing the list of things you can't do in this country just because you're black. I'm going to save you time. There aren't any. There aren't any. All you have to do is have the determination, the drive, and are willing to make the sacrifice. And in the land of milk and honey, my friend, anything is possible. But the media, bless their little old hearts, would have you think otherwise. That's why every single day when I end this show, you hear me say, you know what? You're right. America, we're not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you know he loves you, and you know I do too. Then again, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. We'll see you Tuesday. Take care. God bless.